Good day, everyone. I pray that everyone is having a wonderful day on today. I wanted to hop on and drop my seed for Triumphant Friday. Amen. I pray that you have been triumphant on this Friday whenever by the time you hear this seed, but I also pray that you had already been triumphant throughout the whole week. Amen. So I wanted to just hop on and ask a few questions. Amen. To just encourage you and just to remind you about a few things. Amen. So one of the things I'm going to ask you is, did you take up your bed and walk this week? Amen. Even though life tried to throw all kinds of things your way. Amen. Did you take up your bed and walk and trust and believe what it was that God told you concerning your healing? Amen. And trust what it was that God told you concerning who you are? Amen. Or did you allow the enemy to creep in? Or either your own spirit that tries to tell you that you can't do this particular thing or shouldn't do this particular thing to creep in? Amen. Did you allow those spirits to speak sweet nothings in your ear to get you off track and try to tell you something different from what God promised you, something different from what Jesus promised us? Amen. Did you allow these things to mess with you mentally and physically? Amen. Or did you allow yourself to understand and know that you was more than a conqueror and to allow yourself to actually trample on the devil's head? Amen. Did you allow that? Amen. Or did you allow yourself to get in the way once again? Or did you allow other people to get in the way once again and tell you something different? That you wasn't triumphant. Amen. That you wasn't more than a conqueror. Amen. What did you allow this week? Amen. I pray that you allow Jesus that lives within you and God's words and his promises to be the thing that you stood on this week. Amen. Be the thing that actually allowed you to be able to encourage yourself this week. Amen. I pray that you ate your word this week. Amen. Whenever things like this came your way. Amen. And I pray that you cast those things that did not line up according to God and his words. I pray that you cast them down and that you spoke good things over your life. Amen. Good things over your mental. Amen. Good things over your physical. Amen. I pray that you did all these things and that you did not allow the enemy to have his way. Amen. And if you did not do these particular things for yourself this week, amen, as of today, whenever you hear this right here, this encouraging word, I pray that you remember that you don't have to allow the devil to have his way. No matter how it's coming at you, whether it's coming from within, amen, the spirits that try to attack our minds and stuff like that, or either whether it's coming from the outside, amen, the devil has no room. He will not have his way. So remember that you will be triumphant, not just on Fridays, but you will be triumphant every single day. Amen. Take up that bed and walk. Amen. So I'm going to give you a couple of scriptures real quick. You can go back and you can actually read them yourself. Amen. So let's see here. Matthew 4, verse 5 through 11. Luke 4, verse 9 through 12. Luke 10, verse 19. Amen. Go back and read those scriptures and don't forget about St. Luke 5. Read the whole chapter and you'll see what I'm talking about. Amen. Y'all be blessed. As always, make sure that you are taking out the time to do what's needed for you and not allowing things to get you off track. Amen. Not allowing the things to keep you from being triumphant. Amen. I love y'all. Don't forget to like, share, and follow on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. Love y'all. Be blessed.